The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
Jesus spoke to his disciples. If your brother or sister sins against you, go and point out the fault when the two of you are alone. If he or she listens to you, you have regained your brother or sister. But if the person does not listen, take one or two others along with you, so that every word may be confirmed by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If the person refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if that person refuses to listen even to the church, let such a one be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Truly, I tell you, whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Again, truly, I tell you, if 2 of you agree on earth about anything you ask, it will be done for you by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there among them. The Gospel of the Lord.
When we first take a look at our readings today, they can seem to be pretty straightforward, because it seems like Ezekiel is telling us that we have a responsibility to speak to the wicked and to tell them that they are wrong in their ways of living. And Jesus seems to very much be telling us the same thing, because he tells us and gives us this whole program of, if a brother or sister sins against you, here's what you do. Here's how you work to remedy the situation. But these 2 readings do not fully make sense without the words of St. Paul that we hear in the second reading. St. Paul tells us at the end of this passage that love does no wrong to a neighbor, and that it is love that is the fulfilling of the law. We live in a world today where so often our tendency is to jump right into attacking those whom we don't agree with, right into attacking those who have wronged us. And we see it in our news media, we see it in the way that people behave on social media and Facebook and so on. And the tendency isn't even to try to go confront the person first. It's to just go right into, I can't believe what that person did to me. I can't believe that they have behaved this way and acted this way. And we try to get all kinds of people riled up and joining in with us in condemning that person. And even when the person promises that they're going to try and change, that they're going to try and better their life, we still get other people to say, yeah, but remember when they did this to me, and remember when they did that to me? It's this whole thing in our world that has been dubbed cancel culture. And it does not allow a person the possibility to change or to be converted. And it is completely contrary to the gospel that we read and proclaim, which asks us, yes, to go and confront people and speak to them about their wrongs, but to do it in that spirit of charity and love, where we go first to them privately, then we come with a couple of other witnesses, then Jesus says, go to the church. But what even does that mean, to go to the church? And what does it mean when he says to treat them as a Gentile or a tax collector? Even there, it doesn't mean that it's not saying, oh, completely cut the person off, because it was still in the Jewish commandments that Jesus would have lived by, that you were to have respect and concern for the foreigner and the Gentile that lived in your land. So in all of this, when we speak with others about sinfulness or about ways that they have harmed us and wronged us, we are called to do it with that spirit of love. And yes, that is very difficult in a world when some people, quite honestly, don't have regard for the other person, and they don't care one way or the other if they've harmed a person, because we're so self-focused and so self-referential that we forget about the responsibility that we have to show care and concern for others. But that's what we're challenged to do. In our dealings with others, even if they have wronged us, we are still reminded that every single person we come into contact with is a child of God, and that every single person has dignity precisely because they are a child of God. And when we remember that, and even in the difficult moments, we can begin to approach those who have wronged us in that spirit of love, in that spirit not of condemnation, but of being able to confront in a nonviolent way. We can begin to bring about healing in the world and begin to undo some of the divisiveness and some of the discord that is running rampant in our world today. We're called to move from that spirit of always wanting to attack others, always wanting to say, well, you did this to me, and you did that, and you did the other thing, to a place where we can go to that person and say, you know, when you said this is how it made me feel. And that opens a path of dialogue, because it enables the other person to respond and say, well, I'm sorry, but that wasn't my intention. And then you can have an honest conversation about what was said, and you can honestly work together to resolve the situation. It's called nonviolent confrontation. And it is a skill that takes some time to master and practice, but it's a skill that if we are willing to learn and work at it, we can begin to bring about some change and heal some of the divisiveness and some of the discord that is in our world today. May we always be people who are willing to work for reconciliation, and in all that we do, may we be willing to build others up instead of seeking to tear them down.